in a dark, scary forest, hidden within the hollow of an ancient, scary tree. 3 scary fairies gather to discuss scary movies. This week's feature is a recent tale from 2025, entitled Heart Eyes. Now, let's meet our fairy hosts.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Murder's my kink, and I'm here to kill you. I'm Hannah.
I'm Evan, and I'm single and ready to mangle.
I'm Matty. I always had the heart, but now I got the eyes. And we're the Scary Fairies. Hello, fellow fairy friends, and welcome to the podcast. How's everybody doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
Surviving.
Yeah.
Surviving. So I wanted to bring something up from last episode. I haven't listened back to the episode yet, but I felt afterwards that I didn't shower enough praise on Sophie Thatcher, who is the lead actress from Companion. So I just wanted to bring that up now. She's great, and she was in Heretic, and she's great in that.
Yeah, she was wonderful in Heretic. I didn't realize it was her until you said that, so...
She's Yellow Jackets too, right? That's where I know her from.
No. She's not in Yellow Jackets.
She's not in Yellow Jackets?
No.
She's not the main Yellow Jacket? The titular Yellow Jacket?
No. I don't think so, but I gotta look it up again.
Well, that's where I knew her
I've
from.
never seen Yellow Jackets.
It's so good.
Evan will look it up and find out,
Look it
though.
up right now.
Look it up and
We're
make
going to cut
me...
that if it's not, so I don't look silly.
Oh, no,
Oh,
we're leaving
no,
it in.
we're not.
No,
She's
cranking
in
that
Yellow
volume on
Jackets, yeah. She's in
She
Yellow
is?
Jackets,
Who
yeah.
is she?
Plays, she's Nat. Teenage Nat. Natalie.
I forget who that is. It's
Yeah,
been a
I
while
forget
since
names.
I've watched the whole thing.
So I will be cutting this out.
Great.
I would have left it in if Evan was wrong.
Ah, fair.
You were white.
Another thing I wanted to bring
She's
up...
the teenage version of Juliette Lewis. She's the younger Juliette Lewis, yeah.
Yep.
She's great in it, yes.
Yep, you're right.
This is now a Yellow Jackets podcast.
This is Yellow Jackets recap.
Podcast.
Put on your jackets.
The show after the show.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was a quick article in the New York Times that I sent you guys. It was about people laughing uncomfortably in theaters for horror movies and Baby Girl for like erotic scenes and that sort of stuff. And I've noticed it a lot with horror movies. I went and saw a movie called Bug, and people were laughing at the movie, and I was getting really pissed off. And ever since then, it's happened... at least 10 times in theaters where I feel like people are just laughing at the movie and they shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah. When I went to go see Baby Girl, it was just everybody was laughing.
Yeah, you mentioned that. And you said it was like awkward laughter?
Yeah, it was very awkward and uncomfortable laughter. And it usually was around like the scenes where he was like trying to be a dom. And so, I mean, I kind of get it, but it was, it was annoying. I don't feel like they were trying to spark or strike a comedic chord at all. But yeah, definitely a lot of people laughing. And I don't know, Matthew and I had a rough time at the theater watching Hard Eyes.
Hard Eyes is the worst movie theater audience experience I've had in a very long time.
Oh, it was rough.
What were they doing? Like, what made it so bad?
Well, first of all, when the trailers were running, there were these two children like yelling, and Hannah and I yelled at them, and
like having like full volume conversations, or actually like
not
yelling at each
full
other?
volume conversations, more than full volume. Like,
Okay.
hey,
yelling.
listen to me.
Yeah, like
Like they were fighting?
like
Yeah, okay.
No,
talking
like
and stuff.
Okay.
like making inside jokes with each other, but
Oh, okay.
to the auditorium.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're trying to be
Not even talking at full
funny.
volume.
Okay.
Well,
yelling.
I just have to express my gratitude and love for Matthew because he literally whipped his head around and yelled, "Shut up!"
Yeah.
And I gave him a high five and I said, "I'll do the next one." And I did do the next one. And I turned around and in my teacher voice told them, "Shh, be quiet."
Yeah.
Really loud.
So that was how things started.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the movie actually started, there were these other people that all of a sudden started talking, and I guess they were talking about deciding to leave the theater. And they ended up leaving, which is like, great. Okay, the people who were talking are gone, and now we should be good because we have the people we yelled at who we are probably not going to talk anymore, and the people who were talking just left. And then right after the people who were talking left, a bunch of really loud people came into the theater 20 minutes into the movie and started talking.
It was awful.
It was
Awful.
terrible.
I hate bad audiences.
Just people from hell came
Yeah.
to this movie and decided to fuck it up for all of us. And I was about to go punch somebody.
I was like, do I need to leave and
like,
just
get a
see the
refund and
movie
try it
again?
again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was I luckily had a good audience for Hard Eyes, which felt like I've had bad luck lately. They were responding, but in like a fun horror movie way where like every once in a while it's fun, yeah. And like they were doing like, oh no, don't go in, like kind of like a don't go in there kind of yelling at the screen, but it was restrained and I appreciated it. But for I just saw I'm Still Here, the Brazilian movie that's nominated for Best Picture. And it was the worst experience I've ever had.
Oh my God.
This family comes in with this humongous dog that was absolutely not a service dog. Like a full, like mountain-sized dog on a leash. And they're like, and then like other
Nana from Peter Pan.
100% like Nana from Peter Pan. And like, and they were letting other people pet it. Like, that's why it was like clearly not a service dog. Like, it was like clearly just like, oh, we brought our dog because we wanted to a movie, which I have no idea why they were allowed in. It was insane. And then they let the dog walk around the aisles. And it was like starting to walk towards other people and like smell them. And I like dogs. And I was like, do not come near me. I'm not here for a dog. I'm here for a movie. And then the lights never went down in the theater when the movie started.
What?
No, the lights don't go down.
You are kidding me.
And then so a guy gets up and leaves to clearly go talk to him and tell him. And then a few like a minute or two pass, and then like all the emergency lights come on. Like they hit the wrong switch, and like these really bright lights on the side of the theater came on. And then like slowly faded out, and like but then still was like at half light, and then somebody went out and talked to him again, and then finally the lights went out. So I missed like the first 10 minutes of the movie basically with all this nonsense.
What a shit show.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Evan.
It was real gross on that one.
Yeah, well, hopefully moving forward this year, the audiences will be better.
Because I will start throwing punches if it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna get arrested at the movie theater.
Yeah, I thought about walking up to somebody and pouring my drink on them.
Yeah. How do you
guys get a large drink, and I wasn't going to drink it all.
I get nervous when people are it's not the biggest like taboo or anything, but when people are talking during the trailers, I get a little nervous.
Oh yeah.
Because I can't tell if it's just like the movie hasn't started, so we're still going to talk, or if like they just don't know the etiquette.
And it's 50-50. Sometimes they just are
they
talking during the trailers and shut up for the movie. Sometimes they keep going, like,
that's why
they'll either like lower their volume a little bit, or like just do it less but still keep doing it, and it's really annoying.
Yeah,
it makes me nervous.
I feel like it's a harbinger of things to come.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm like, oh no, are we in for a whole movie of you think it's okay to talk this whole time?
I'm the same way.
I went to, I'll never forget it. I went to see Spider-Man when I was probably like 12, and like the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
The Tom Holland one.
I'm really, the Tom Holland one.
15.
I mean, because I'm
Hannah's
22.
Anyways,
anyway, but this couple in front of us was having a full-on conversation about a new apartment that they were moving into and how it had kitchen privileges.
Yeah,
and like
that's important.
My God.
Yeah, it was like, are you fucking kidding? This is a movie. Like, to watch the movie and then talk about your kitchen privileges after the movie. And what are kitchen privileges?
Yeah. We check our kitchen privilege here on this podcast.
Yeah, I better check my kitchen privilege. Sorry. Well, who gonna check me, boo?
All right. Well, that's enough complaining for one day,
Yeah.
I think. Now let's move on to a segment we like to call It Came from the Queue.
Came from the queue.
All right, Evan, let's start
Yeah.
with you. What horror movie related things have you been up to?
Yeah, so per both of your constant encouragement and suggestion, I finally got Shudder, or
Yay.
re-got Shudder because I had it for a little bit and then ended it. So I got that again. So I've been watching stuff on that. Mostly, I watched that whole 101 Greatest Scares special thing. It's just really like with the talking heads and a countdown of different scary movie moments.
I
They
do
used to
love
do
a
those-
talking head, and
I do love it.
Yeah,
And it reminds me of like the golden age of like the I love the 90s and stuff, like that era of like just show you a clip and then comedians and
riff about it,
people talking about it. Yeah. So
Did you get to number one?
I did, yes.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot of them I'd seen already, or like I've known about, but there are some new ones on there that I've kind of made a note of. Oh, I should watch that, even though it kind of spoils things in the list. They weren't very cautious with spoilers, but I don't mind that. I'm kind of a scaredy cat, so I'm the kind of person that actually reads the Wikipedia article sometimes when I hear something's too scary because I need to know.
You better not be doing that for the movies for this podcast.
Not so far, because they've been new, but that's what I did for like Hereditary. I was like, I need to know why this is so scary. And then other than that, I've been I watched the first Hell House LLC movie, the kind of found footage, almost mockumentary about the Hell House that goes wrong, and I thought it was pretty well done, pretty fun. I've heard they're all pretty good, so I'm gonna make my way through those, I think.
Yeah, I actually have a Blu-ray box set of those that I got before I had seen any of them, and Hannah and I watched the first one.
Yeah,
and it was pretty good. I hope they get better, though. I've heard they get better.
Yeah, I've heard they're solid throughout, so I'm looking forward to watching those. How about you, Matty? What have you been watching?
So I've been having a pretty busy week, and I did not get around to all the horror things I normally do. The only horror stuff I've been doing this week is watching Evil. I'm almost done with the first season. I thought I was finishing the first season last night, and it's like, okay, I can talk about this on the podcast. But it's not 10 episodes. I thought the season was 10 episodes. It is 13 episodes. I found out at the end of the 10th episode when it didn't feel like a finale, and it moved on to episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really it for me. Hopefully I'll have a lot more to talk about next week.
Have you seen The Therapist yet? I want to be a little...
Have I seen the character in the show that we find out is a therapist?
No, there's a therapy scene. So you won't know. You haven't. I think you would know exactly what I was saying if.
Well, there's the lost guy who is a therapist.
No. Yeah, but no.
Okay.
But he goes to therapy at some point.
Oh no, I've not seen that.
Okay, so yeah, okay,
have not. All right,
great.
I'll look forward to that though. Yeah, is that in season 1?
Yeah, that's towards the end of season 1. That's where it like clicked for me.
I gotta watch this
I'm looking
show.
forward to it. Yeah.
I'm still kind of mixed on it, but I'll let you know at the end of season 1.
Yeah, let me know.
Feeling.
Okay, yeah.
Hannah, how about you?
Ooh, it's been a banner week for Hannah in terms of movies because I had a day off on Monday, and I have pretty light days in the middle of the week, so I just have been throwing things on here and there. But I watched VHS 99, which I thought was really fun. I watched Saint Maud. I really enjoyed that.
What is that?
It is a movie about a newly devoted Catholic girl who's a nurse, and she goes to help. She's a palliative care nurse, and so she goes to help this woman who's kind of a hedonist, and it seems that this woman kind of wants to become a Catholic, so this nurse is trying to kind of steer her in the right direction, but she's also not quite mentally stable. So a lot of, without going to spoilers, just craziness ensues. I also watched
I have
Galaxy.
seen the ending of that movie because I heard how crazy it was, and I needed to see it.
It's a great ending. The ending is really neat. I watched Galaxy of Terror because I was told by the sci-fi episode of Horror's Greatest to watch it, and it was pretty weird, but good. It's sort of an alien knockoff. Lots of lube everywhere. A monster tears off a lady's clothes, so they hang boobies in it. But overall, the special effects were kind of cool and had some interesting moments in it, so I enjoyed it.
James Cameron worked on those special effects.
Yeah, and James Cameron worked on the special effects.
When you say lots of lube, were they like as lube, or were they using it as like the drool, like they do in Alien?
Like drool and slime, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Then I watched The Sadness, which was a trauma movie for sure.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it was really good. It was very violent. And very inspired kind of by, I would say, like 28 Days Later, except for the people could like talk. It's basically about like a virus that infects people and makes them go fucking crazy and do horrible, depraved shit to each other. And so there's that. And then I watched Tusk, which is a Kevin Smith movie. Body horror, very fun, enjoyed that. And I also watched Barbarian, because we had watched Companion. So I wanted to know what else the producers of that had done, and I really enjoyed
seen it. Was that your first time?
I had not seen any of these movies, so that was my first time.
Did you know not really a twist, but did you know where it was going at when you started it, or
no,
clean?
I didn't. I went in. I totally got faked out. I went in.
Nice.
Yeah, without knowing what was going on. So
yeah, it's good to not know what's coming in that movie, because there is a twist that totally changes the movie.
Right.
I think knowing that there's a twist doesn't really ruin anything.
No.
Yeah.
But not knowing the twist really makes the movie a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a really fun movie, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the movies that I watched this week. So
yeah, that's a lot of movies, Hannah.
It's gonna seem like I have no life, but I just
she does.
I just
because
have
she does not have a life.
Yeah, thank you. It's because I have ADHD and I scurry around like a rat at night.
You do watch these at 5 times speed, is that correct? We should be honest.
You get them shot into your brain.
Everyone
like you're
speaks
in the
like
Matrix.
Yeah, I take a little pill and then I know what happened in the movie. Yeah.
Your eyes open and you're like, I watched Barbarian.
Yeah, exactly.
With a little Tusk story, I had a coworker who was terrified of walruses, and I had like, because of the movie Tusk, she like saw it and like it freaked her out so much. The walruses like are absolutely creep her out, and I had like just a random like sea life calendar at my desk, and she like would not look at it if I had it on the walrus month. For like the whole month of February, she couldn't look at my calendar because of it.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's too funny.
Now it's time to discuss movies similar to the one we just watched in a segment we call Similar Screams.
Similar Screams.
So, what other movies have you two seen that are similar to this one? I'm asking that question, but I'm going first. So, the one that first came to mind, and I already talked to you about this, Hannah, is this movie's a lot like Scream. And it is made by the same company that made Screams 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And it very much feels in that vein, especially Scream 6, because the twists in the two movies are very similar. I won't say what they are, but the reveals in the two movies are very similar.
Okay.
And the other movies that reminded me, that Hard Eyes reminded me of, are the Babysitter movies, which are They're on Netflix. They're hyper violent, but very fun. I believe Mick G is the director of those movies. So, and he did Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. So it's very Charlie's Angels Full Throttle feeling, but horror movie. How about you, Hannah?
I thought of My Bloody Valentine, not the original version, because I have not seen it, but I have seen the terrible remake.
The 3D one?
Yeah, the 3D one, and I saw it in 3D, and that was kind of fun.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I felt like this movie could benefit from being in 3D.
Oh, totally.
I feel like they could have, camped it up with 3D. Definitely.
But mostly I just picked this because it has a Valentine theme, and I couldn't think of any other. Besides the David Boreanaz's Valentine movie.
Is that the one with the weird Cupid mask one?
Yeah, with the weird Cupid mask.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that.
Mm-hmm. It's bad. You could skip it. Evan, any movies that you think are similar?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, it shares a writer, which I looked up after the fact and was like, oh, that makes sense. And also just in the mixing of genres, the movie Freaky from a couple years ago, 10 years ago now, maybe. It's basically the premise is Freaky Friday, but make it a horror movie, which I like a lot. Basically, the main woman in the movie switches bodies with this serial killer, and so now she's in the body of the slasher serial killer, and no one believes her that she's her. It's a lot of fun. It's has kind of a similar tone to me, where it really balances being a Freaky Friday movie and just making it a slasher film. And then kind of similar, the Happy Death Day movies do kind of a similar thing, where it's let's do Groundhog's Day but make it a horror movie. And I kind of like this genre of like, let's take blank but make it horror, and actually like being true to that original genre of like, we're gonna actually do it. We're not just gonna be like a winky like 2 seconds of the original other concept and then just go right into slasher. It's the other thing the whole time.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk a little bit about this movie. So it is directed by Josh Rubin, who I didn't realize I know because I watch Dropout TV, which is what College Humor became, and it's its own channel, and you pay like a week or a monthly subscription fee.
Yeah.
And he's on it. He's often on two of the game shows they do called Game Changer, and then the other one is Make Some Noise.
Is he the one that always has clips of him doing like animal noises really accurately? Is that him?
I think so. He's thin and has a beard.
Yes. I think that's the same. Yeah, I didn't know that was him. That's cool.
Yeah, and he makes a cameo in the movie. He pops out in the drive-in scene. Right? Yeah. This is his third film, and it turns out I had seen one of his previous movies, Werewolves Within, which is really good. I really recommend that movie. I think I mentioned it in our Wolfman episode because it's a good werewolf movie. And then he also directed his first film, which was called Scare Me, which I haven't seen, but I like his other two, so I'm down to watch it.
Is Werewolves Within a kind of horror comedy? Is that kind of his
very horror comedy? That seems to be his thing.
His lane, Quill. Yeah,
Quill. Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna cut that out.
Yeah.
No, it's so Quill.
It's so Quill.
He's set to direct a sci-fi horror film called Green Bank. Hopefully, that is also a sci-fi horror comedy.
Interesting.
Starring Mahershala Ali and an Italian guy getting along.
That is, of course, referencing the movie Green Book.
A horror movie of its own kind, in a way.
Yeah, that movie is the only thing that makes me believe that Emilia Perez could win the Oscar for Best Picture.
Oh, God.
Which by the time...
horror films.
Yeah, by the time this episode comes out, the Oscars will have already happened, so people will know. But I doubt it will win at this point.
At this point, no.
Yeah, no, I think it's sunk.
There were 3 people who wrote this movie. Philip Murphy, who the only other credit I could really find of his was the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which came out a few years ago. I didn't see it. Samuel L. Jackson and I think someone else, Ryan Reynolds, maybe.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah. And then another writer is Christopher Landon. And he's written for a lot of the Paranormal Activity movies, starting with the second one. And he directed the marked ones, which was okay.
I do love a paranormal... I can't say that word. Paranormal Activity movie.
Yeah, you said it. He also
But
wrote...
how did he write them if those are documentaries?
Yeah.
That's a great question, which you'll have to take up with him.
Yeah.
He also wrote and directed both Happy Death Day movies.
Have you seen those, Matty?
I have not. I wanted to watch them before we recorded this episode, but you recommended them before.
Yeah, definitely. The second one's wild where it goes. I watched it like right at like the start of the pandemic, basically, when I was starting to work from home. And the second one is kind of wild where it goes.
I need to watch those. He also wrote and directed Freaky, which we talked about. And he is directing a film that we will be doing on this podcast in a few weeks or months, Drop. The third writer is Michael Kennedy, who collaborates with Christopher Landon, who is the writer I was just talking about, a lot. They co-wrote Freaky, and then not with Christopher Landon, they co-wrote It's a Wonderful Knife, which is a horror parody of It's a Wonderful Life, and Time Cut, which is another time travel horror movie.
That's kind of the Back to the Future, but horror, right? That was like
I believe so. I haven't seen Time Cut yet.
Okay. Or no, that's Totally Killer. I'm sorry.
Totally Killer, which we're about to talk about because the lead actress in this movie is in Totally Killer. So there's a lot of overlap for time travel horror movies in this movie.
I haven't seen Totally Killer.
Totally Killer's good. It's got Kiernan Shipka is the lead.
Oh, our queen.
Yeah, and Olivia Holt, who is the lead in this movie, plays her mom in that movie. The young mom when she goes back to the past.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, starring Olivia Holt, as we just said. Mason Gooding, who is in Scream 5 and 6. And his dad is Cuba Gooding Jr.
Do you think he's mad that he's not Cuba Gooding the third?
Probably very. I would be.
Yeah. Like the end of the trend.
And then let's play a little game called Is Devon Sawa in this movie? So first I'll ask you, Hannah, is Devon Sawa in this movie?
Full disclosure, don't know who that is.
So that being said, what's your answer?
No.
Okay,
the good thing about any movie is there's a 50-50 chance
that Devon Sawa
is in it.
Evan, is Devon Sawa in this movie?
He is in this movie.
He is. Can you tell me who he plays?
He is Hobbs, Detective Hobbs.
Right?
That
is correct.
Yes.
I believe it's Hobbs. It's either Hobbs or Shaw. He's one of the two.
Because
he's Hobbs. Okay. Which is The Rock, right?
Oh God, I don't know. And I have been on the tram tour at Universal so many times because I have a pass, and I still don't know, and I'll never know.
So for the audience at home, they do make a joke in this movie that the two cops are named Hobbs and Shaw, which is also the name of a Fast and the Furious spin-off movie. All right, now, before we enter spoiler territory, let's talk about our feelings about this film, and let's start with you, Hannah.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun time at the movies, despite the shitty audience that we had. I really, really liked Matthew and I were talking about this, but I enjoyed the tone overall of the movie. I thought it was really funny, and very action-packed, and a lot of interesting, cool kills. What do you think, Evan?
Yeah, this was extremely my shit. I was so in on this. I had a great time from beginning to end. Actually, the last 15, 20 minutes, I rolled my eyes a little bit. I don't know if I love the final reveals and all that, I could have maybe even not used that. But at that point, honestly, the movie had gained so much goodwill with me that I was fully on board for whatever it wanted to do. When the trailers were out for this movie, it just looked like a fun, like, just slasher that was Valentine's Day themed, and I thought, oh, that's fun. Sure, we'll see that. I didn't know going in that this fully was a romantic comedy horror movie. And the amount that they fully commit to it being a romantic comedy really just charged the hell out of me and won me over on this.
Yeah, me too, actually. I really liked the romantic comedy aspect. I thought it was it wasn't too much of one or too much of the other. It was just such a perfect synthesis of
they fully
both
committed.
Of those genres.
They didn't just they clearly kind of have a love for both genres. Yeah, I felt like they clearly loved the horror and did a good job on it, but also loved a romantic comedy, and they treated that real and let the characters actually have a meet cute and stuff. Right. How about you, Matty?
I want to expand on the rom-com aspect of it. Mm-hmm. I really like, and I think it's unique, that this is a parody of rom-coms, not a parody of horror movies, but it is also a horror movie. Mm-hmm. So it's parodying rom-coms, but the horror is pretty straightforward. Yeah. And I really liked that. You don't usually see that. I would have expected the tone of the movie that the horror would be a little bit more silly, but it wasn't. The silly parts were the parts that were making fun of romantic comedy.
Right. Yeah.
It almost in this meta way where the characters don't want to be in a romantic comedy, which just added to it. Mm-hmm. They're kind of the whole movie. They're rejecting this idea that they're in a romantic comedy, and then it turns on them. Yeah.
All right, well, now it's time to enter spoiler territory.
Warning, you are now entering spoiler territory.
All right, so let's talk about the plot of this movie. Who wants to start and talk about that opening scene?
Sure, I can start us. First scene, opening, kind of cold open of the movie, is we're in Seattle. There's some nice establishing shots of Seattle. We cut to this winery. It's clearly decorated for Valentine's, and there's a kind of an archway and a full kind of setup. And there's this couple, Patrick and Adeline. Is that how you say that word? That's spelled out for me? Adeline. But just this couple is very nice. Like,
I just called them a really bitchy couple.
Yeah, bitchy couple that they're very good looking, but they clearly are terrible people. And basically, we're watching a proposal, but it's this kind of messed up proposal where she clearly has been expecting it and wants it to go a very certain way. The first kind of break in first kind of indication that it's a comedy or more funny than just a normal movie is we cut to this photographer that's watching them from the distance, trying to take a picture of this proposal, and he hasn't gotten a good shot at all, and they're pissed, especially the woman in the relationship. She's absolutely kind of goes bridezilla on him, even though she's not a bride yet.
I like how far away the photographer is. Yeah. He's a mile plus away from them.
Yes.
It's great, and he's just in the forest with apparently a really long lens.
Yeah, and it's kind of a fake out because we see kind of his point of view, and we think, oh, are they being watched?
It could be the killer,
yeah, but it's not. It's just this photographer that they hire to take pictures. Mm-hmm. So they're on the phone, and then he gets stabbed in the face by the titular hard eyes.
Really great shot, which would have worked really good in 3D.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just right through the camera lens, right through his eye.
Really I also want to point out that I don't know how you do what you do song was playing, and it was very cheesy.
Their phone keeps ringing and there's cheesy ringtones.
Well, and they're playing it on a what do you call it? Like a portable speaker.
Oh, yeah. It's just total cheese ball.
Yeah, very fest. Cheese ball.
And I like to, so at first it's all really brightly lit and looks very rom-com-y. It looks very sunny and all that. And then immediately after the photographer gets killed, suddenly an arrow flies into Patrick's head and he goes down. and she
Yeah.
screams, a really good horror movie, scream, and then starts to run, and immediately the movie kind of becomes foggy, and the winery is really creepy looking.
Right.
And I really like that sudden shift of like bright, saturated, like sunlight. So suddenly we're in a horror movie. And again, it's like played completely straight. She's running. And then we get my favorite kill in the movie.
It's great.
It's so
wonderful.
good.
It's so good.
So good.
It's
Yeah.
so good. This is what I love.
Really great.
She sneaks into kind of the barrel room, for lack of a better word for it. And she sneaks into this giant like machine to hide from the killer, and it turns out she's in basically like the grape
crusher,
like, squisher machine, and the killer like locks her in the machine and turns on the machine, and it slowly like is moving in on her,
and you see her head pop.
Yeah. And they don't cut away. She fully pops in the most like a really gross like good horror movie kill.
And then we cut to the title, right?
Yeah, I think that's when we get the title. And I was all in.
I love when a horror movie does a cold open and then does the title after something cool happens.
Same. I just wrote hard eyes in caps after her head is crushed. Hard eyes.
I love that. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
I like, this movie doesn't do it, but I like when a movie does that at the beginning and the end. So, like, an example of that would be the Evil Dead remake.
Okay.
They do the same thing at the beginning where something intense happens and then it's the title.
Evil Dead.
And then at the end, it ends on a really intense note and then the title comes back to remind you of what movie you just watched.
I love a good title drop too, like at the start of a movie.
Yeah.
Where they hold it a little bit. Like this doesn't do it too long, but just like you kind of forget that hasn't happened yet, and then you're like, oh yeah, here's what we're here for.
Yeah. So I have a question about this next scene. We see a lot of clips of news reports talking about the Hard Eyes killer. And a lot of these, they're watching it in the coffee shop?
Yeah.
Do they usually play news with volume in the coffee shop?
I was all in. Honestly, it's like one of those worlds.
I didn't even think about it. I was like,
so
oh, sure.
over the top.
Yeah.
But also, they have these,
of course
like...
they're doing that.
In this world, there's this, like, maniac that we learn that every Valentine's Day for the last, like, 2 years in different cities, there's this Hard Eyes killer that's been going around killing couples. And they're like, well, and watch out, because it's Valentine's Day again. And it's, like, so... It's not at all realistic, but I was so on board for it.
Yeah. I do wish they kind of continued the news coverage. I feel like they really hit it hard in the beginning, and maybe it just doesn't make sense to keep doing it, but it kind of
it's all set
fades
up.
out.
It's all kind of exposition, basically.
Exposition.
Yeah, but keep giving me exposition. I love when movies just shove that down my throat.
Yeah.
So it's here at the coffee shop that we have our meet cute.
And we meet our protagonist, what's her face? Allie. And who is at the coffee shop with a friend who is honestly our queen. We enjoy her. Me and
MVP.
Evan, MVP.
Yeah.
Great.
I loved her from the start. Like that actress, let's shout her out. Gigi Zimbato is her name. Just wonderful. Just
very funny, very irreverent,
really funny,
nice
really
friend,
warm. Immediately you wanted to be her best friend. And again, like such a well tuned performance that fit right into a rom-com. Like literally, she's the best friend from a rom-com.
Yeah.
I just really loved it and put me in that world.
Exactly. And so she's at the coffee shop with her friend, and we learn that she's got to go to an urgent meeting with her boss and others because she is possibly going to be fired. So she has in the midst of this, she has a meet cute with Jay, who because they have the same coffee order, and which Allie seems to think is very unique, and is corrected by the sardonic barista. It's very
Everybody
funny.
orders that.
Everybody orders that.
Like just like under his breath. It was so good.
It was
in the background.
Wonderful. So funny. And she bumps heads with him first, and then bends and snaps and gives him a bloody nose.
Yeah, the double hit was great because they knock heads once and then she smacks him even more violently in the head.
And now he's bleeding.
And now he's bleeding, and she can't stay. She rushes out to her meeting, and we learn at the meeting that she fumbled a huge jewelry campaign by referencing couples who died and showing them bleeding.
They show us this commercial, and I think it's really good.
Yeah,
the blood is scarves. It's beautiful.
It's great
like
for
black and
people
white,
like us. We would enjoy it, but I think people wanted on the internet to cancel her and wanted to dox her.
Bad timing.
Bad timing.
That made me laugh too. Just the like, they were reading all the comments that were like underneath this ad that we see, and it's like, how dare she? Doesn't she know that like real people died on the Titanic? Like it's really made me laugh. Like, that people were ready to cancel her for this like pretty innocuous ad, I felt.
And then who do they bring in to fix the problem?
Jay.
None other than the guy.
None other than the man that she bumped heads with and handed his ass to at the coffee shop. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to shout out while we're at the scene. The boss is played by Michaela Watkins, who was on SNL for a season. She's really funny.
She's hilarious and definitely very believable as like a cunty boss,
like owner of this
kind of tacky jewelry brand. Yeah,
kind of like a Meryl Streep in Devil's Wear Prada kind of performance. Over the top and just kind of a crazy accent, but again, just everyone top to bottom was making me laugh at this first chunk.
So then Jay is trying to take Allie to dinner. It seems like he's into her, and she is just not about it.
No.
But then Monica takes Allie to get an outfit to the dinner that they're both, that her and Jay are going to go to, that she finally agrees to. And
we do the full montage, like rom-com.
Loved
coming
that.
out of the
Wonderful.
dressing room, nodding and shaking your head montage. Yeah.
Yeah. It's done in a way that was very tongue-in-cheek, but not over the top. Like, it was really handled well. And then we meet The Rock and Jason Statham. So we cut back to the winery where Detective Zeke Hobbs, who is Devon Sawa, our king, and Janine Shaw, played by Jordana Brewster, are investigating the scene. They find a ring that has initials on it, JS, who could it be? And there was a great part where Shaw is in the juice press.
Oh, yeah.
Where the girl died,
like,
and I feel like
there.
you wouldn't just get in there.
No.
She's like in a hazmat suit, but like fully in the goo.
Just
I was
fully,
like, get out of there.
And she's like picking stuff up.
Yeah.
There's like a chunk of like scalp with hair on it. It's real gross.
So nasty.
and that's when she mentions like, oh yeah, this person has a kink. Like this person is killing because it's their kink.
Oh, did you guys catch? I don't know if I missed it, but the first like news report from the winery / the detectives, they mentioned that 4 people were killed at the winery.
There was a spa. So there were people killed at a winery, and then in the news reports they talk about a killing at a spa. So 2 people died at the winery, 2 people we didn't see get killed at a spa.
Okay. The math wasn't mathing for a second.
That is how the maths.
Yeah.
So now we go on the date / not date with Jay and Allie, and Allie is really kind of being rude. Do you guys think?
No. She doesn't.
I thought Hannah might fight with that.
She's there for business.
She's there for business, and she doesn't want to go out with this guy. She doesn't need to accept his fucking champagne.
Yeah, but that's what, again, was making me laugh, is like clearly she doesn't know she's in a rom-com movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's fully in the rom-com. Like, he's from right out of a rom-com, and she is absolutely rejecting being in that movie.
Yeah,
she's saying, no,
advance.
I am not here to be in a rom-com. I'm here to work. I'm losing my job.
It feels like she knows she's in a rom-com, and she hates that she's in a rom-com.
Yeah, that's what was killing me. Is
Exactly.
It's very almost meta. Like, she's almost going to look at the camera and be like, no, I'm not in this movie.
Well, and she's also obsessed with her ex, who we see her keep looking at her phone at pictures of her ex and his new girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Who they run into outside the restaurant.
And they decide to do a kiss.
Yeah.
Well, they don't decide.
She just kisses.
She kisses
She
him.
leans in.
Yeah, she leans in and kisses him. Excuse me.
One person makes that decision.
Yeah, and it's her. And and the ex-boyfriend sees her with his new girl. They go into the restaurant as Jay and Allie are leaving, and they tell them not to get killed, which I thought was quite funny, because they're just like, why would somebody say that? Which is very good.
But then we see through some hard
watching
eyes.
her.
Yeah.
They're being watched by hard eyes.
Yeah, we know that Hard Eyes only attacks couples. On Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. And now the Hard Eyes has seen them kiss, even though they're not a couple, which I just thought was a great setup for the movie.
Well, we find out later that Hard Eyes was going to kill the ex,
the other couple,
boyfriend, and his girlfriend. And they were also, those two people knew the first victims of the movie who died at the winery and seemed to not really care that they died.
They're like,
exactly.
Oh my God,
they're like, we're here to honor them. It's what they would have wanted. It's like, I don't know, just maybe cancel your dinner and go somewhere else, or just don't
not
go.
In this world.
Because they were supposed to go on a double date, and they still went on it just without the dead people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they go home. Allie doesn't have her keys, so Jay breaks the window and tears up his hand. I love in movies when this happens, when they show that, yes, if you break a window, you will probably cut yourself.
It's gonna hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you put a fucking tie around your hand, you're still gonna slice the shit out of your finger.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's not an artery.
Yeah. But she takes him up to the her apartment to help kind of, give him a Band-Aid, basically. We learn at this point that she was studying to be a doctor or in the medical field, but she can't stand blood. She hates blood.
Great thing for a doctor.
Great thing for a doctor, and
a lot of
great thing for this horror movie we're about to go through. I thought a fun little detail. But she's actually, really good at getting the glass shards out of his hand, and again, they're, have like slowly kind of the ice is melting. Not really, like they're still kind of. She's still definitely, fighting against this relationship that's brewing, but he's clearly into it. And the other thing I liked was that this movie gave it time to breathe. It really just fully a rom-com scene where they go up to the apartment. She's taking care of them. They're getting to know each other and their histories and their backstories.
She's kind of holding his hand by taking out all of that
nice.
Glass. And very
but who's in the closet?
Yeah, she goes around, she opens the closet, and bam, hard eyes.
I liked that she was just casually opening the closet to throw in a piece of clothing or something, or what was? Well, it was just so casual,
innocuous. Yeah,
yeah.
Totally,
she's cleaning up her nasty ass apartment.
Yeah. What's in her apartment, Hannah? What was on her?
Oh, she had there was a dildo that she was hiding, and she threw that dildo right at Hard Eyes.
And then Hard Eyes in the closet.
Right in the face.
She screams and throws it right at his head. Which again made me laugh really
hilarious.
hard.
Very funny.
But now they're in a full hand-to-hand combat with Hard Eyes, who has several weapons, which I also liked. He has these arrows that he's shooting at people. He's Cupid.
I love that he has a little crossbow.
He has a little
kind of a tiny crossbow
and little tiny arrows, he has little tiny throwing cherub
knives. And he has little tiny throwing knives that he's thrown at people. And then he also has a giant machete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a very multifunctional slasher.
Right. And so they run out and they secure the door with a belt, and he stabs through the door, which I thought was very Scream too. When he stabs, when the killer stabs the guy through the bathroom stall in his ear ball. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then they run outside. The driver who brought them there gets shot, and then they go to
park that's across the street. There's a park / Central Park looking
I wrote
thing.
an amusement park? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Well, there's a carousel. Yeah. It's just like, a family park where there's one ride.
Because Jay gets knocked down by the killer and
she runs
away.
Yeah, ditches him.
Yeah.
Where was that? That was just because she runs to the park. It must have been I
think it's like a big park is where I took it. I think it's a lot of
right.
Mm-hmm. And she hides in the merry-go-round, and a crazy chase ensues, and it's pretty scary. She manages to kick his ass a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Right before that, there's kind of a creepy scene where the Hard Eyes is just kind of slowly swinging on a swing.
Yes, that was a great shot.
Right,
which was nice. Yeah,
and then she looks and he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly he starts the carousel with her on it, and then he's on the carousel with her, which you see a little bit in the trailer, but I thought was a really effective sequence.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, we keep saying he, but one of the characters does correct during the movie and does say, "What if they're a woman?
It could be a woman. Yeah,
it could be a woman."
Mm-hmm.
And was that Shaw that says that?
Well, might have been. Yeah,
which is funny.
In that.
Yeah,
for no particular reason.
No reason.
She wants her props.
Yeah,
girls can kill too.
So she manages to escape Hard Eyes, and I think it's really funny that we find Jay in the back of a police car and he's pissed because she left him.
Yeah. I was like,
again, really charming.
It's very
they're running for their lives.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
What really,
was she supposed
mad.
to drag your ass? Or yeah.
But again, in a really rom-com a couples fight kind of way, where he's
yeah,
almost a comedy, where he's like,
what was she supposed to do?
Yeah.
She's like, I ran away. We were both running.
Really good exchange.
Yeah. And then obviously they go to the police station at this point because he's being taken in for questioning.
They think he's the killer.
They think he's the killer. They found the mask.
Same initials as the ring that they found.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She follows along because she kind of feels bad that. Well, she's like, it's not him. I saw Hard Eyes. They were chasing both of us.
Yeah,
it's not him.
So she knows it's not him.
Then I think at this point, again, the detectives say, well, what if it's more than one person? What if he was working with Hard Eyes?
Yeah. And again, I think it's Shaw.
Yeah.
I'm not
again.
Yeah. Shaw again. For no particular reason.
For no reason.
We bring that up.
At the police station, he's handcuffed into an interrogation room, being interrogated by Hobbs. She's in kind of the waiting area dealing with this first the sergeant at the front desk who's not at all helpful, but she's demanding basically to speak to her manager in a way.
And we meet an IT guy who is unimportant, and we will not ever talk about him again.
But it made me laugh because he immediately hits on her. Again, she's trapped in this rom-com and she doesn't want to be.
She's the main character and people keep trying to riz her up.
He's like, hey, I just want to shoot my shot, basically. Would you be interested? And she's like, no. I just got chased by a murderer.
Yeah. I'm trying to prove this man's innocence.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, sir?
Yeah, really made me laugh. And again, I just thought, oh, that's a funny little mini scene, and I didn't think anything more of it. And then the sergeant, the desk sergeant, goes in to talk to Hobbs and Shaw, and I think references that she's what is it? She says she's a CWL or something, a crazy white lady, I think she calls her.
Yes.
They have a code for it. Basically she's a Karen asking for a manager.
Crazy white lady at the front.
And then is this the point where the power cuts out of the police station?
Yeah, that's what I have, is that the power gets cut. And
it's always good in a horror movie when the power goes out.
And Allie thinks that Hard Eyes is in the closet, and there's a line that she says that I love, where it's he's always in the closet.
Yeah,
it just worked on so many levels. First of all, you've seen him in the closet once.
Yeah.
Second of all, it sounds like he's gay.
Yeah.
Third of all, he's probably in the closet.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed that.
Like Scream, this movie has characters that kind of understand the rules in a way of both rom-coms and slasher movies. So she's kind of, it's very meta in that way, where she's aware of the tropes and the rules, and she's constantly trying to outsmart it, which I thought was a lot of fun as an audience member.
Yeah. This is also when we have one of my favorite deaths. It's not necessarily the death that's my favorite, but just how it starts. When Devon Sawa Hobbs goes into the hallway because he hears gunfire. And I think Shaw has already been knocked down, but not killed. He goes into the hallway and gets a machete to the crotch.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Always love a nut shot. Always love a nut cut.
And I think he dies by getting his throat slit, but the shot, because you get, like, you see his ass and you see the machete go right up. It's
between
great.
his legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has another fun kill in the scene where the main Allie grabs an American flag to protect herself, and it's like the biggest full like American flag that she's trying to protect herself with. And then just like, and then Hard Eyes isn't there in the closet, nowhere to be seen. And then a little bit later, she's in the front there with the desk clerk. And then suddenly Hard Eyes is there and stabs the desk clerk with the American flag and impales her.
Yes, and
really
like
clear.
lifts her up on the flagpole. Yeah.
New flag. And Allie runs. The detectives go out to confront Hard Eyes, but Shaw is knocked out while Hobbs takes a machete to the balls, like Matthew was talking about. Allie runs to get the keys and try to free Jay so they can escape because Hard Eyes is going into the interrogation room.
While he's handcuffed.
She has to get the keys out of Hobbs's pocket. So do you think she touched some like severed ball?
I hope so.
Yeah. These are the questions that need answering, you know?
They need answering.
Well, hopefully there's a sequel.
Hopefully. I hope this movie gets...
It would be great if they did it every Valentine's Day with a new killer.
That's my first
be so
reaction
happy
was
about it.
Put one of these out every year. I'd be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot you could do with it.
Yeah, and then, where do they go after the...
Oh, so she unlocks
police officer
Jay, and then they run and are being chased by Hard Eyes, and they realize that they brought him to... I think they even say this. They brought him to a buffet because it's a drive-in theater with a bunch of horny people on Valentine's Day.
Right.
Which is great. And this is like a big set piece. I loved this whole part.
Yeah, it was great. And Hard Eyes proceeds to not waste any time and goes on a fucking spree. Jay and Allie run away and lay low in a van where there's two hippies who don't seem to mind at all that they're there. And
in fact, they kind of like it.
And yeah, they like it because they start role playing like one of them is Hard Eyes, and they're having fun, sexy times behind them while Allie and Jay are having kind of a sweet connection in the front seat, which I thought was pretty funny.
It's also very well hiding from a murderer.
Yeah, they're hiding from a murderer.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so
multiple
great.
levels.
Yeah, so funny.
They're having this sweet conversation while you hear the moans of people having sex behind them, and there's a killer
circling
trying
the van.
to kill them.
Yeah, trying to kill them. And so they proceed to start fucking, and they're too loud, which attracts Hard Eyes, who kills a dude with is it a tire iron?
It is a tire iron.
Yeah, a tire iron, and then proceeds to slam the girl's head into the same tire iron and makes a hole go all the way through her head, and you see all the way through.
Can I just say, this is one of the best kills in the movie, and they ruined it in the trailer.
Yeah.
They should not have shown that kill in the trailer.
They didn't show that. Because I would have been like, whoa, if I hadn't seen it at all.
Also, I want to bring up a point, Evan, that is your point.
Yeah.
We see Hard Eyes in this scene go around a gay couple's car. I think they're lesbians.
Two women, yeah.
And we just see him like
circle them and like drag his knife.
But presumably he doesn't kill them.
Gay is good,
Yes.
baby.
So is Hard Eyes an ally?
Is he an ally or homophobic? Like, yeah, I don't know what's the
Like, ooh, I don't want to
worst
touch
honor.
gay people.
Yeah. Well, did you? It made me laugh in the one of the first scenes in the diner scene, in the restaurant scene. Really quick, I caught there's an ADR line where one of the background actors says "Well, I don't think he kills gay people." Or something like that.
I missed that.
Yeah,
Totally.
it was really quick.
No,
and it
missed
made me
that.
laugh.
That's
I was like, "Oh, is that a rule
hilarious.
here?" Because before the movie came out, I think I joked to you too, he better kill at least one gay couple, or else I'm going to cancel him. But he doesn't, and he actually avoids killing the gay couple. So does that make Hard Eyes an ally, or
we don't know
more of
that
a
he
monster?
didn't kill that couple?
That's true. We just don't see it on screen.
Yeah, we just don't see it. Yeah.
And I was like, I want equal representation. I want
No, I like to see
love is love, and gay love is love.
Love
and
is love.
They deserve to be killed too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And please take that quote out of context, Matty. Please
Oh,
clip
I
that.
will. Oh, I will. That's getting 2 million on TikTok.
Yeah.
So Allie and Jay end up fighting Hard Eyes and win and kill him, and the movie's over.
Mm. Yeah. Which I actually. I mean, I was like, oh, there's probably more to go, but yeah, for a second I did think, oh, is this the? Okay, great. Yeah, we fought Hard Eyes. They kill him. They unmask him.
I will say, up until this point, the movie was moving at a clip.
Yeah,
Like,
so I was
this movie
oh.
goes fast.
Yeah,
Right.
So when
waste
that
any
happened,
time.
I'm like, I believe that I guess we're this far into the movie.
Yeah.
But I checked my watch because I was so shocked that, this would be the ending.
Yeah.
I checked my watch and it was, a little over an hour. And I'm like,
There's no way. We
got
got
to be at
30
least,
minutes.
a half hour
Right.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you do kind of know that this isn't the end.
Mm.
I do like, though, that they take off his mask and it's just some
nobody.
random
It's
dude.
just some
Yeah.
rando. Yeah. No one
Which I
knows
almost
who
liked
he
more.
is.
Yeah, I almost liked it because at this point, again, I was so charmed by the rom-com out of it all that I was so focused more on that. I was like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter who the killer is, really.
Mhm.
To me, I was like, sure, it could be nobody. It doesn't matter. What I liked was their story, that they were going through this crazy rom-com night as this murder was happening.
Mm.
Yeah. And then one of the funniest scenes in the movie, because Jay stabs Hard Eyes through the chest, but the blood bursts onto Allie's face and gets in her mouth. So she pukes all over Hard Eyes' body.
Yeah. She does not like blood. She told
Does
us.
not like
Yeah.
blood.
And yeah, fully just pukes on him. Not even near him, on the body itself. Of
Yeah.
Hard Eyes.
Oh my God.
They show us her puking all over Hard Eyes. It's great.
So great.
Yeah.
And then we have the classic scene at the end of a horror movie where they're in the
She's in an ambulance.
ambulance. Yeah.
Wrapped up in the silver blanket.
Space blanket.
Yeah, the space blanket to keep you warm.
Which she's wearing two of, and they take them both back.
Yeah, immediately. I gotta go. And it made me laugh.
Yeah.
That was
really good.
That was
Quite
good.
funny.
I think they said something along the lines of, "We have somewhere else we have to go now. I need those back," and just takes the blankets
just
off.
pops in and gets off. They kind of have one last, you think maybe this is the moment after going through all this that they're gonna finally realize they're in love, essentially. And she's like, no, see you on Monday or whatever. See you at work. She's still rejecting it. And then meanwhile, Shaw, who's kind of been flirting with, what's his face? Jay? What's his face?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, Jay. She's been flirting with him kind of throughout the movie, even when she thinks he's a suspect. And kind of having girl talk with Allie and being like, yeah, he's hot, right? She basically offers him a ride because she's hitting on him. And then he goes off with her in a car.
When she offers him the ride, I'm like, "It's her."
You thought, yeah, is that what you?
I
still didn't
immediately
think it.
I immediately was like, he's getting in her car and she's going to do
Somewhere.
something to him. Which, spoiler alert, does
True.
happen.
Yeah.
When that happened, I'm like, okay, she's the continuation. This is how it keeps going, is she's involved in this somehow.
Yeah.
Which is why she's so adamant about taking him home.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Never let them take you to the second location.
Yeah.
That's what Oprah says.
Yeah.
Well, and now you're Used to's favorite character comes back at this point after being gone for a while.
I hadn't realized that she wasn't in it, but immediately I was like, "Oh, my friend's back! Great!" I was so happy.
Hey, girly pop.
And it also, though, it made me retroactively a little sad that she wasn't in the whole middle chunk of the movie. I would have liked her to tag along somehow.
Yeah, but you don't notice that she's not there.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't notice until she came back, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she's back. I love her." And they kind of have a heart to heart where they kind of basically go over the whole night, and she's like, "No, you love her. You love him. Like, what are you doing?
Go to him.
Run to him.
Run to the airport.
He's at the airport. Yeah.
And
the classic
end of a rom-com. Run to him. So she does. She goes to this airport,
she hugs a guy who is the wrong guy. I enjoyed that. And then she gets a phone call. And who is the phone call from?
It's from Hard Eyes.
Hard Eyes. And they have Jay. And he, Hard Eyes, well, I shouldn't say he, whoever, Hard Eyes tells them.
Canceled.
Yeah, shit, I just assumed his gender.
You just assumed their gender again.
No! So she's told to go to St. Valentine's Church and to go and save Jay.
Go alone. It's one of those, like, go alone, don't tell anyone.
Go alone, don't tell anyone else. Or I'll kill him. There, Allie finds them and finds that Hard Eyes is David, the IT guy that asked her out.
Oh, that I wasn't too surprised by, but I'm like, that's good. Yeah.
And he's not working alone. He's actually working with Detective Shaw. Who, you guys, I'm real sorry, but I forgot what her name was the whole time that I was writing notes on this, so I just called her Bobo Courtney Cox the whole time.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That works.
I don't know what Bobo means, but I believe that she is a Bobo Courtney Cox.
Yeah, Bobo Courtney Cox.
I like that the reveal of the Shaw is, oh my god, it was you. Who was that other guy that we had masked? And they were like, oh, it was a nobody, just a fanboy. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, you were a couple. And then he's like, no, we weren't a couple. We were a thruple.
That was good.
I love a killer thruple. It made me laugh again.
Yeah, I like, too, that they work with their fans. That's always nice.
Yeah, it's about giving back.
That also felt very Scream.
Yeah.
The whole ending, the whole reveal, I won't spoil the specifics of it, but there are things that are very, very similar to other Scream films throughout the ending of this movie.
Yeah. But I like too, because like Scream, you can have a sequel. It doesn't matter who you could kill Hard Eyes as many times as you want. Somebody else can be Hard Eyes next time, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I like the potential.
Yeah, so you can always keep making these movies, which I'm in favor for.
Yeah, I really enjoy the potential for new adventures.
The New Adventures of Hard Eyes.
Yeah.
Coming soon to a theater near you. The New Adventures of Old Hard Eyes.
I thought the once the reveal happens, I thought the church scene was pretty fun.
They
did a little fight.
It was kind of weird when I guess it makes sense. They tell her to pick up a gun. It has one bullet. Kill yourself or him, and
prove you're not in love.
And whoever you don't kill dies. And I'm like, no, you're gonna kill the other person.
Yeah,
like if she shoots him, you're gonna kill her. If she shoots herself, you're gonna kill him. Like, there's no. Why would anyone believe you?
Yeah, well, they try to the way they pitch it is like, well, if you shoot him, you'll prove to us that you're not in love. You don't care about him, and then we won't have a reason to kill you because that's all we do. Also,
but she knows their identities.
Yeah, it doesn't. You're like, they're not gonna let her go. Also, this is when they do the reveal. They reveal their reason behind it is just that it's their kink,
which she said at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep. Foreshadowing.
She knew it was their kink because it's her kink, and she was doing it.
She just said it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they make out because they really are turned on by just murdering people.
So I want to bring up a point of Hannah's, and is this movie kink shaming?
I don't think so. I mostly wrote that to be silly, but no, I don't think it is. I think once your kink is murdering people, you've gone beyond the pale.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it's celebrating kink.
Yeah.
I mean, not like to a large extent, but I mean, it kind of makes it seem like killing as a couple would be fun.
Yeah.
At least to me. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be saying this out loud now that I think
clearly
about
brought them together, you know?
Yeah.
They loved each other. They had a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, Allie doesn't die. She doesn't shoot herself. She shoots Jay through the shoulder and then gets Bobo Courtney Cox in the belly. Big fight ensues between all four of them. I will say my favorite part of it was, because it was so outlandish, was when Shaw... Well, first she gets stabbed with a metal straw, which we haven't brought up, but the metal straw keeps coming up throughout the movie.
Yeah. Chekhov's straw.
Chekhov's straw. She gets stabbed with a metal straw, but then she gets impaled through her neck on a St. Valentine's Day statue, or St. Valentine's statue sword. And they were talking about how St. Valentine was decapitated, and then we see her head slowly get removed from her body. It's great.
Yeah.
And the ligaments are, and all the blood. And
it was a real gross effect.
It was nasty,
really
but
I loved it.
Quite good, yes.
I also like that she pours candle wax on IT guy.
Yes.
Just like completely covers him with wax, and then
good effect.
His face is melting. Yeah, his face is melting, and then she kills Shaw, and then we think, oh, it's done. They did it. They finally killed the last Hard Eyes, and then we get the classic like horror movie, one last jump scare. The killer comes back to life, where the IT guy is crawling towards her covered in candle wax, and she has to do one last like headshot or whatever to kill him for real. And it also made me laugh because this was the point where somebody in my theater yelled at, "Nope, hit him in the head twice," which I liked. It was fun. Again, it was just a fun audience I was with.
Yeah. So they succeed and they ride off into the sunset, and then we get to the ending, which is 1 year later. I didn't like the ending. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I thought that it was what the movie was making fun of. And it wasn't in a tongue-in-cheek way. It was very serious, which I get. Like, I guess I get what they were trying to do, or at least I think I get what they were trying to do, and I just didn't enjoy it. I thought it would have been better if they ended on either a more cynical note or a funnier note.
Yeah, I didn't like the fake out of the ending. I liked them, the proposal. Basically, they're at the movies again, at the drive-in theater, and they comment of how kind of fucked up it is that they're back there after everything that happened, which made me laugh. And then he pulls out a box, and she kind of has this almost, it seems like a negative reaction. He's like, and he opens it, and it's a house key, and he just wants her to move in with him. And then he's like, "Oh, well, no, but you don't have to. Like, it's fine. You don't have to. I know if this is too much, this is too fast." And then she reaches in her pocket, and then she proposes, which I thought was really cute.
I like that.
So that part I liked. I liked that,
I hate love. I just hate love. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're cynical and hate love.
I'm the only one here not in a relationship, not married. So, I guess that's where I'm coming from.
Suspicious, though, too, because you'd be the only one of the three of us that wouldn't get killed by this Hard Eyes killer.
Yeah.
Hannah.
I did enjoy the ending. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. I don't mind a happy ending in a scary movie. I did see, like, I can see how it would feel over earnest and like maybe not. I don't know. I think they were trying to make a horror romantic comedy, and that's what they did. And so they had a romantic comedy ending where she is going back to med school, and she has one last kind of interaction with her old boss, who is congratulating them for creating a really good campaign. And then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. And then we get a little mini mid-credit scene where, again, they're like in the
they're in the car. Yeah.
Their phone rings, and we think, oh no, oh crap. And it's just the friend again, kind of like a mirror of the first scene where she's at a distance with the camera taking a picture of the proposal. But then suddenly her phone rings, or it cuts out real quick. And we think, oh no, and then cut to black.
Yeah, it seems like either they hung up on her or something happened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna propose, well, I'll say it this way. Retroactively, I think I will like this ending more if in the sequel they immediately kill the two characters.
No!
Because that often happens.
on.
That often happens with horror movies. You guys need to calm down.
I love them.
It happens
Don't
a
tell
lot
me
with,
to calm down.
Oh boy. It happens a lot in horror sequels where the protagonist from the original will get killed off in the first couple minutes of that movie. Friday the 13th Part 2, Grudge 2, spoilers for those two movies. Spoilers for the first 5 minutes. And Hostel 2, the same way. But if they did that in a sequel to Hard Eyes, it would redeem the ending of this movie for me personally. The person without a partner.
You don't love happiness. But my only rejection of that is my idea of a perfect sequel idea is we follow them to their honeymoon, and then it's like Hard Eyes in like Hawaii, chasing them around on their honeymoon, trying to kill them and killing a bunch of like people on like a Hawaiian vacation or something.
Okay, and if we get Hard Eyes in a Hawaiian shirt, and a
I
leg.
want like full like
fantastic
vacation honeymoon vibes.
Okay,
with a slasher film was my pitch for a sequel.
Well, are you two feeling up for a little walk?
Yeah,
because I was thinking about sauntering over to Hannah's costume corner.
Saunter.
Hannah's costume corner.
All right. So, the people there were 3 people that were credited on IMDb that did the costumes, and I think they also had stuff to do with makeup. Brian Christensen, Tony Gardner, and Jayendra Watson. I hope her name is Jayendra. Jandra? Who knows? I'm sorry. Tony Gardner did 127 hours, Hocus Pocus, and Bad Grandpa. Jandra Washington did the Rings of Power costumes. And Brian Christensen did Chucky and Jackass.
Okay.
Yeah. So lots of big credits for them. I really enjoyed just going back to the very first scene. I loved that the bitchy girl's off-the-shoulder table sweater. Very cute and very perfect for an engagement outfit. Definitely something that you would see on Instagram. It's just a picture perfect outfit to be proposed to in. So I really liked that, and I liked that it got all dirty and fucked up and that her head exploded because it was great. The scene where Allie is trying on all the outfits with her friend, I really enjoyed the pink layered cream puff dress, but she doesn't choose it. Instead, she chooses a sad beige outfit, and that made me sad.
That's part of the joke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's part of the joke, but I was like, aw. But it was a very chic outfit, I do have to say. I did like her necklaces. Those were very on trend. A lot of the outfits in this show were very on trend and very in style for this current year. Allie's makeup is fantastic. Very subtle, kind of clean girl. There's this huge influence of clean girl makeup at this point in time because of Hailey Bieber popularizing the trend.
What is clean girl makeup?
So it's makeup that you wear to make it look almost like you're wearing no makeup and have very glowy skin. Not a lot of, so very minimal foundation, very, as opposed to like 2015 makeup, which is pretty as close to like full glam as you can get. Lots of contouring, lots of baking, lots of very, very prominent brows. But in this, it was just like the makeup was so beautiful, just like someone had kind of pinched her cheeks and put a little highlight. The lip that she was wearing was matte and perfect. But you could tell she was wearing lipstick, but it was like the perfect shade for her. I really enjoyed that. And I liked the juxtaposition between Allie's makeup and Monica's makeup, her friend. Monica has kind of more dark, edgy makeup because she's funny and edgy and says funny things. So I really, I mean, the costumes were so contemporary that not a lot stuck out to me. But I really enjoyed overall the makeup, and definitely some thought went into the costumes, and I overall pretty great.
Yeah,
great.
Something
I loved it,
and I liked just his costumes. I thought were well done in terms of he just looked good the whole movie. He really looked like
everything was nicely tailored very very fit tech bro,
like,
marketing bro,
man of your dreams from a rom-com.
Exactly.
Yeah, very like cute sweater on his first like.
Yeah,
I get why Evan liked this movie so much now.
Yeah.
Well, listen. No, but he was just very handsome, very definitely charming. And I also like all of her coworkers at work were dressed very like hip and like modern office kind of like,
right.
Not really anyone you would maybe actually run into in real life, but it really sold that like big city like advertising firm from a movie kind of thing that really sold it for me.
Yeah.
It's that time again, the way we end every show, by recasting this film with Muppets.
It's time to play the music.
It's time to light the lights.
It's time to cast the Muppets in
this horror film tonight. Evan, take it away.
All right, here we go. Let's cast some Muppets. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but are we all in agreement that the main couple is Miss Piggy and Kermit?
Oh,
100.
yeah.
Ellie. Yeah,
100.
I think you would have to do that if this was the Muppet Hard Eyes. And again, I mean, it kind of doesn't fully work because, Miss Piggy, typically is such in love with Kermit from the get-go.
She'd play hard to get, though. She would definitely play hard to get.
Yeah.
I think she does play hard to get a lot, right? Where she gets mad when Kermit isn't trying to pursue her when she's playing hard to get.
So, yeah, you can just do that and kind of change the dynamic. Or, again, you can maybe flip the roles, have her be the guy
that's good. I like that.
That's always good, I think, is, have Kermit be the reluctant, like, I'm trying to just do my job, and have Piggy be the one chasing after him the whole time.
Yeah.
I think that works personality-wise, definitely.
That does work.
Yeah.
Miss Piggy angry in the back of a police car because Kermit left her.
I can see that.
That's great. That's so great.
That actually works really well.
Yeah.
For the best friend, I would maybe throw in Pepe the King Prawn here.
Okay.
A little quick, zingers, a little one-liner. That was my best idea. I don't know about you guys.
What about Gonzo?
Anybody? Gonzo could always fit here. I always would throw him in.
Fozzie.
I just said Janice because she was all cool and edgy. And
that does work with Janice.
Yeah,
if she's cool. I also threw Janet though in as the boss, Crystal.
Oh, that makes more sense. Honestly,
just kind of like she's not that mean, but kind of I think she could play that part of like the kind of putting Piggy down with her work. For Hobbs, the Devon Sawa part, I would put Fozzie here personally.
Okay.
I think he would fit.
I'm doing what I always do. Devon Sawa should play Devon Sawa. He's the only non-Muppet in the movie.
He's always in it. That's true.
He's never a Muppet. He's always himself.
This guy, I put Gonzo as Shaw for me.
I put Gonzo as the tech, the one that tech dude.
The tech guy.
Yeah.
I put Camilla there.
I put Bobo Courtney Cox was Camilla.
Okay, so you flipped it. We both flipped it.
I flipped it. Yeah.
But I think they would be your killer couple at the end. One way or the other.
What about Scooter as IT guy?
Oh yeah, that could work too.
That works.
Yeah.
How about Hard Eyes? Who plays?
You mean like the random?
Like, who would play like him
the
with
physical
the
embodiment of Hard Eyes?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have the Muppets do it because you'd recognize them from their body.
Their body type.
So I feel like Animal could like run around in the Hard Eyes mask, and you could just see his body, and he would just be like doing animal shit.
Or what if it was like Sweetums and he was like 8 feet tall?
Sweetums or Animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sweetums, and he's like 8 feet tall the whole movie, and then they take off the mask, and it's little tiny like Scooter.
Yeah.
Well, I have an idea.
Yeah.
So Sweetums is who you see as Hard Eyes throughout the entire movie, and when the mask gets pulled off, it's Sweetums. But when they do the flashbacks at the end, we didn't talk about this, but they reveal when each of them was doing the kills. So when they do the flashbacks, have the Muppet that is saying they were there be the killer. So you see the difference in their body types as they're describing who did what kill.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Love it.
Were there any other characters worth casting?
Nar.
I mean, you could maybe like throw Ralph in as like the taxi guy, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let him be the taxi guy that gets killed pretty fast, but I think he has like cabbie energy of trying to get him to kiss, basically.
Yeah,
okay, for sure.
The opening couple and then the ex-boyfriend I don't think they need to.
They can be people.
They can be anyone.
Celebrity cameos.
Yeah.
Like the traditional Muppet movie.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the opening couple could be Statler and Waldorf, the critics who sit up in the balcony.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Any final thoughts on this here picture?
Yeah, like I said, I hope they make sequels. I hope there's one, if not a year from now, maybe next Valentine's Day. I hope this becomes a new Valentine's Day tradition, that they come together with a funny script. I'll be there.
Yeah, I think we all want a sequel, and we all want to see the two lead characters die at the beginning of that sequel.
Absolutely
we all want that.
Nope. Sure don't. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, had a great time at the movies, and would love to see a sequel, and would love to see one like a cool Hard Eyes every year. So
I got to tell you, I don't think that's going to happen. This movie would have to be wildly successful, like Saw or
Let me have my
Halloween.
dream.
We could get another one though.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting an every year.
Probably not, but a girl can dream, can't she?
Yeah, I think this movie would have to make over $100,000, and I do not think it's going to.
Not unless we go back and back again.
That's actually a good idea. The three of us could do it, and our audience, our gigantic audience who are going to flock to the theaters. Well, by the time
everyone
this comes
buys
out,
just one ticket,
VOD,
we will hit that goal.
Just rent it on iTunes. Make it number one on iTunes.
Make it number one. It's an order.
All right. Well, until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Scary Fairies, a podcast where three fatties discuss scary movies. You can write to the fatties at scaryfattiespod@gmail.com. Tell us what you think of the show or ask a question, and they will read it on air. Visit the website at scaryfattiespod.com and like and follow us on Instagram. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in listening to the Scary Fairies discuss scary movies. See you next week in the forest.